Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the blog. This is I Partied with Mike, and today a little discussion about the circle of fifths. Now, I'm not a very good videographer, so I'm a little worried that this is actually backwards on film, but hopefully you can follow along with me anyway. So, this is really kind of intended for those of you who already know bar chords. So it's not necessarily a beginner lesson. This is a little bit of music theory and, kind of a intermediate course, I suppose. Nothing too technical, nothing advanced. And if you're not at this point yet where you're doing bar chords, feel free to follow along anyway, because it will be helpful to understand the concepts and can certainly, the information here can take you to the point where at least you understand why we do bar chords and how they can help you and give you something excited about to learn. And also hopefully, help you realize that it's not going to be that difficult to learn if you don't know bar chords. But this isn't, really about bar chords per se. It's really about the circle of fifths, kind of what that is, and why it's important, and how it all translates to the guitar in a pretty relatively simple way. And I think you'll be surprised. So bear with me just a little while, and let's explore this approach. And, if you like it, well, hit that like button at the bottom and subscribe to my channel, as I will be, doing more and more tutorials as time goes on. Anyway, all right, so what is the circle of fifths? Basically, it's just an arrangement of notes, right? And they're arranged in such a way that they are laid out divided into perfect fifths. And what that means is you have 12 notes along the chromatic scale, okay? Let me give you an illustration, okay? They also correspond to the frets along the guitar. The sixth string here is the low E, okay? It's tuned to an E. So therefore, it is going to resonate in the note of E, all right? And each fret is going to be a half step along the chromatic scale, just like what you would see on a piano, how the piano keys are laid out with the white keys and the black keys. If you started on a C on the piano and played every half step in a single direction to the right, let's say you started with a C, you hit the little key next to it, and it's going to wind up being a C sharp. Then one next to that is a D, and then a D sharp, and then an E, and so on along the chromatic scale. The guitar is no different, okay? Each one of these frets you could kind of picture as one of the small keys on the piano. Okay, so we'll start at E, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then the next note is back to E again. So in other words, it took 12 half steps to wind back to E again, okay? Most of you know this. I'm not going to dwell on this. This is just one of the things this is the tool we're going to use to kind of explain the rest of this. So just follow me along, okay? So we do know that each one of these half steps is moving along the chromatic scale until it winds back up to E again on this E string, right? E, 12 frets up. We're at an E again, just one octave higher, right? It's an E that just sounds like it has a higher voice, right? Those are voicings. Anyway, the point is, all of the notes along the E string follow that same structure, and every string along the guitar does too. So what we're going to be talking about today are the E string notes and the A string notes. because these are going to play an important role in helping to build out these bar chords. Okay, and again, for those of you who already know bar chords, please just bear with me. Let me explain the concept, and you guys will know what I'm talking about. So just follow along, and then we'll get to the meat of it in just a minute. Okay, all right. So for those of you who don't know, bar chords are really just chords that begin with that note. And so let's say we want to do the F bar chord. Okay, well, we have the E string. The next half step is an F. Okay, that's the F. We're going to call that the root note. Okay, so we're going to place our finger, our pointer finger, on that root note and bar our finger across all of the strings on the guitar. Okay, I'm just going to bar that whole. That's why it's called a bar chord, because your finger's making a bar. Okay, and then we're going to do the shape of an E chord. Okay, and you guys know that an E chord is shaped. You know how an E chord is shaped, right? Right? That's an E chord. 1, 2, 3, right? Those of you that don't even know bar chords typically know the open chords, right? So an open E looks like this. That's an E shape. My fingers are positioned in such a way that it forms a shape. Okay? So we're going to do that same shape with the bar chord. I changed my fingers, but I'm still doing the same shape, right? Still doing that same shape. I'm just using these 3 bottom fingers instead of this one. So this one's free to make the bar. It's the same thing as putting a capo on your guitar, okay? All right, let's do that. All right? Yep. That's an F, because we've got the F root note barred, okay? F. Following the logic of the chromatic progression, if we slide up a half a step, that's an F sharp, right? F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, and so on, until we wind up back at E again, down here on the 12th fret. I'm borrowing that E again. Okay, so my point is, you can do the same thing with the A string, but when we play with the A string and we make chords, we don't play the E shape, we play the A shape, okay? So that's why chords down here, they have a completely different, see, I'm making an A, just like I do an A down here. Well, some people do their A like this, right? But look at all those fingers. Look how fat my fingers are. They take up all that room. It's too hard. And besides, if we get in the habit of using this finger, that's the makings of a bar chord, right? All we got to do is bar it. You see? So why A string chords are shaped like an A is because the A is an A, yeah? And the reason the E string chords are shaped like an E is because, well, it's an E, yeah? All right, there we go. That's all I wanted to focus on about the bar chords. Now, let's apply this to the circle of fifths. Let's go. All right, these are arranged in such a way that they form perfect fifth. Let's see what I mean. So from C to G here is 5 steps, right? C, D, E, F, G, right? Then starting at G, go G, A, B, C, D, right? Wind up on D. Start at D. D, E, F, G, A. Back to A, yeah? A, B, C, D, E, right? And so on. This is simply pointing out that, well, an F sharp is the same thing as a G flat, right? But that's the point. Now, why are they arranged this way? Well, because together, every 3 chords together, a C, a G, and a D, those are all chords that sound really good together. They really sound good together. G, D, and A, they all sound really good together. A, E, B, sound really good together. Try it. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so now, how does that relate to the guitar? Well, check this out. If we're going to start, let's start at that F. Okay? We're going to start at this F right here. And we're going to make our way around the circle of fifths. But we're going to do it on our guitar. Okay? And here we go. And you can test this out. And this is what I want you to do when this video is over, is test this theory. And how I want you to test it is to see which note applies along the E or the A string, okay? But here we go. We're going to start with F. And then C. And then G. And then D. And then, yep. And if you do it back really fast, it looks like this. This is what the weird thing is. Check it out. It's just going up the neck, going from the A bar chord to the E bar chord. 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 And just going up one full step each time until we get to the E. So basically, follow these dots along your guitar. Well, you don't have a dot here, but you'll see what I mean. So make these bar chords, follow them along the unit circle, or sorry, not the unit circle, the circle of fifths here, and yeah, you'll see what I mean. It's just super easy. It flows together. You'll never forget the circle of fifths again. You'll have this ingrained in your memory. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's how they all relate to each other. Okay, now one last thing before I let you go. And this, you'll notice, these are all the major chords. Okay, but what about the minor chords? If we were to fill in this unit circle, where would they go? So, in other words, the question is, what is the relative minor to this C chord? And the reason that's important, more music theory, but I challenge you to check that out, why that's a big deal. The point being, if you're playing a song in the key of C, what is perfect to solo along with that is anything in the A minor pentatonic. Okay, check that out. So you want to know, if it's the key of C, what is its relative minor? So why would playing a C chord sound good with notes? Why do those notes sound good with a C? Well, it's because A minor is the relative minor to the C. And here's how we can find that on the guitar. Okay, what we do is we take our pinky this time, instead of our pointer finger, we take our pinky and we place it on the major. So let's try C. Okay, we'll start with C. So I'm gonna put my pinky on the C, which happens to be right here on the 8th fret. Okay, and then I'm going to use my other fingers and go 1, 2, 3. So essentially 1, 2, 3. That's called, by the way, it's called a minor third. But the point is, we just do 4 fingers from each other, and now where my index finger lands, well, that's the relative minor. Okay, so C is its relative minor is an A, and you can do that anywhere along the guitar. Just space your fingers out along these frets, and you'll find the relative minor. Let's try D. Okay, D. D's right here. My finger landed on a B. My finger landed on the B. So the relative minor to a D is the B minor. We just proved it. Anyway, go home and try that. I'm sorry this was a little long, but digest what I just said. Okay, have fun with that. My name's Mike. This is I Partied with Mike, and thanks for watching my video. This vlog is over.